Hi, love bugs. Welcome to another episode. Today we have another guest, and this guest is someone I hold very close to my heart, not just because she's an incredible psychic, but because she's been a powerful guide and friend in my own personal and spiritual journey. Francesca DeCapita is a gifted intuitive, spiritual mentor and channel who helps people reconnect with their soul truth, awaken their divine gifts, and navigate life through a lens of higher consciousness. She is known for blending deep wisdom with a fierce sense of empowerment, and her work is centered on helping others remember who they are, beyond the conditioning, beyond the noise, and back into their power. Whether she's reading energy, holding space for healing, coaching, or guiding clients through spiritual awakening, Francesca's insight is always spot on and soul shifting. In today's episode, we're diving into a juicy conversation about the energetic shift happening in the world right now, one from masculine dominance to the rise of divine feminine energy, and how that shift is activating everything from spiritual awakenings to relationship breakdowns to boundary breakthroughs. So, buckle up, everybody. This is going to be a juicy episode. Hi, everyone. Life can get a little crazy, so let's talk about it. If you're ready to dive deeper, talk about what really matters, and feel a little more empowered, then you're in the right place. I'm your host, Carley Doxtator. I'm a life coach, baker, dog mom of two, and you're always there for you, gal pal. And I'm so excited to have you join me. So grab your fuzzy socks, put on your comfy pants, and let's have girls' night.
That was powerful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining us again, Fran. And for anybody who doesn't know, Fran has been on the podcast before. That episode was also amazing just because of who Fran is. But in that episode, we talked about the energetics of a breakup and how you could still be energetically dating your ex. So if you have not listened to that episode yet, you should definitely go back and take a listen. But for anybody who is just joining us now, Fran, could you give a little intro about yourself and tell us about a little bit about who you are?
Well, after that, I don't know if I'm going to do it justice, but I've been an intuitive energy reader, psychic medium, whatever the heck you want to call it, since I was a child. I could pick up on things that other people could not, or see things that other people could not, or would not, or whatever the phrase is, whatever it was. And growing up, it was tough because people, like, obviously you want to be validated for what you're seeing or feeling. And everybody was like, no, that's wrong. No, that's wrong. It is like, that was my constant life was no, you don't
Yeah.
feel that, you don't see that. So I kind of got away from spirituality or my gifts for a very long time, probably 30 years. And then it called me back during my fifth, seventh year cycle on this earth. 35 to 42. This is when you're pushed into your purpose. And it's a wild time. And I was pushed so hard that it was like spirit was screaming at me at that point to get back into it. And I did. And now I'm here reading actually around the world, not just in New York City or in the United States. I actually travel around the world to read people.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Fran, I can tell y'all, is the real deal. I think I shared this story on the first episode, but I'm going to share it again just because it's like my favorite story. The very first time I ever went to see Fran as a psychic, before I knew who she was, I had been following her a little bit on Instagram. First psychic reading I ever got from her it was before the podcast, before anything, but the podcast was an idea that I had in my head about, oh, maybe I should start a podcast. And I hadn't told a single soul about it. I hadn't even spoken the word podcast out loud. And halfway through the reading, we were talking about something, and then Fran just pauses and she's like, podcast. She's like, I keep hearing podcast. Like, what is this about a podcast? Like, do the podcast, do the podcast. And I was like, I was shook because literally there was no way for anybody to know about any of that. And every single time that Fran has done a reading for me since then, there has been something that she said during the reading that is something that I had been thinking about or mulling over, like like a conversation or something that somebody said, and Fran will say it word for word in the reading. And every single time, although at this point I shouldn't be shook, but like every single time I'm like shook just because it's so spot on. So for anybody who's wondering, Fran is the real deal.
Telling you, I'm even shook. Like I got back into mediumship just recently and literally in the last month. And the readings I've been doing, I had a reading with a woman the other day and like her mother came through. And I was like, your mother is telling me that when I say worried, I don't mean it like they're worried on the other side. That's not how
Hmm.
they work. But she's conveying the energy of she's worried about her son, who's this woman's brother. And again, it shakes me. It literally shook it. Like I'm like, your brother's going to be 52. And I was like, something's going to happen around 52. Your mother wants you to know that. And here I am, because as a consciousness, like when you're doing these readings, you as a consciousness takes a seat back. Spirit enters your body. I know that sounds weird, or the spirit of the person enters your body. And it's wild how it happens. And so it's almost like you're still talking, but the spirit is talking. And you're just trying to so anyway, this woman's like, my brother turns 52 this year.
Wow.
How was I supposed to know that?
No way. There's no
No
way.
way in hell would I've ever have known this woman has a brother who's 52, going to be 52 years old. And the mother was like and it was like detailed, like there were so many details. And it's wild once you tap, and anybody can do this, by the way. I just want to let you guys know this. Anybody can tap into the energy. You just have to learn self-awareness and stillness. That's it.
That's so cool. And I think that's a big, I mean, I think that's a really cool point for you to bring up that anybody can do this. I think you're a really good example of what's possible as people allow themselves to go there. Maybe Fran can be your inspiration, everybody, to start tuning into yourself a little bit more.
I love this work. I got to be honest. Like, again, to your point, like I'm even shook when I get messages. I'm like, how the hell did I know that? And you're basically getting the messages from the other side. And it's like you're pointing people on their path. That's the point of all this, is to push people on their path. Not push, that's a little, I mean, you're a girl, so it's like,
Nudge.
okay, push, we gotta go, let's go, you know? Um, mm.
Nudge them forward, maybe.
Yeah, nudge them, like, here, you gotta do the podcast. I know you've been mulling it over, but you gotta do the podcast. That's how you're gonna get, things moving for you.
Right.
But to me, it's just wild how, like, I know this might scare some people, but I knew when my mom was going to die. Like, I knew, let me not say die. They just don't like it when I say die. Transition over. I knew how, I knew when, I knew it. And it's like, it's just something that if you tap into the energy, you can, but I don't do it for everybody. I don't do it for anybody really. I did it for my mom because I personally wanted to see it. This is it's not a gift. This is our birthright to be like this you know it's
Hmm.
quite beautiful.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I think the more that you allow yourself to go there, the more comforting I think it feels.
Yeah, it is. And you start to step into your authentic self. And are we 100% authentic all the no, but you start to step into your authentic self, your purpose, and you just move forward and you're just like, this feels good. I like this feeling. Everything feels a little calmer. Everything feels more aligned. I'm with people I enjoy. I'm pulling in opportunities that I'm, aligned with. So it's really beautiful.
Yeah, that's cool. And Fran, she does coaching, she does guidance. I believe she's going to be doing business coaching. So
Yeah.
she's a really good person to help guide you along on that journey. I've done her coaching and she has helped me have some really big breakthroughs in the energetic department and really just like working through blocks that I have struggled with for a really long time. Fran is really gifted in that area as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's like I said, I can see things that other people cannot. And it's wild because the more I can see in myself, the more I can see in you.
Hmm.
So doing my own inner work is like literally it's a must. There is so if coaches, therapists, other people who are in this like helping industry or healing industry are not talking about their own healing, that's a huge red flag to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a fair statement to make too. Like,
Yeah.
especially as a coach, if you're guiding other people, like you have to go there first, right? Because if you haven't gone there first, then you're just like covering stuff up.
And I heard this from my therapist, my doctor. Like, why would you go see a therapist who is not like I lost my mom, who has not lost their mother? Like, why would I go see somebody who's never been through a divorce? You want to see people who have been through the things that you're going through.
Right.
That's like, and how they got over it and what they can teach you.
Hmm.
And we're all at different stages in our lives, but so many people can teach you so many things because people have been through things, you know. But that's something that I was really, when I look for a coach, or when I, because I have a business coach, I want a business coach who went from where I'm at to where it to go where they are. You know, you just want to look for people who are very open and honest about their own healing, like, and who are very open and honest, period. You know, something to think about when you're looking for a coach or a therapist or a doctor. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, I feel like with experiences, you just have a deeper level of understanding, a deeper level of empathy when you've gone through it yourself, you know? So like if I have never lost somebody close to me, then how am I supposed to understand what that feels like on the other side? Like I can picture it all I want to, but I won't really understand until I experience it myself. So to your point, Fran, doing the research and finding someone that you really resonate with will do a lot in your own healing journey as well.
yeah. Yeah.
So let's get into the conversation about this energetic shift I mentioned in the intro. So Fran and I were having a conversation about this over the past like week or so about this energetic shift that's happening. So that was the inspiration for this episode because we felt like it would be good for everybody to get the lowdown on what's going on. So Fran, how would you describe the energetic shift from masculine to feminine that we're seeing in the world right now?
So it's about going from dominance to embodiment. Only way I know how to explain it. Sorry, we're getting a thunderstorm right now, so if you guys hear it, this is wild. This is my energy. And it's so funny because we're in Taurus sun. We just had a Scorpio moon a few days ago. That's my you know that's your moon. Your
Yes.
Scorpio moon. Anyway, so
Yes.
this is my jam. Anyway, so we're going from a dominant energy to embodiment energy. We're embodying things. We're experiencing things a little differently than we did before. And again, this is only about masculine and feminine energy. I will talk about men and women as well, but that's just to talk generally. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, but the masculine energy was all about success, like levels of what, like measurement and logic and hustle. And feminine energy is really about intuition and flow and receptivity, right? And creativity.
Mhm.
So right now, what's happening is the masculine energy, there's just way too much of it. Way too much of that masculine, even in women, and we embody both energies, masculine and feminine energy, right? But let's just use the case of men and women for now, okay? With women, we have been pushed into, like, even running a business, I get right into my masculine energy. What are the numbers for Q1 and da 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 da, what's going on? But then I also love the fact that I get to create like content. I get to create courses. So it's about that balance, right? But what's going on right now, if you can look in the world and literally see in the news who runs the world most of the time?
Men.
Men.
Yeah.
And look at their energy.
Yeah.
It's wild. Sorry, I just want to, okay, good. I just want to check on my dog. Um, so right now that's what's happening is men and masculine energy. It's too much. And think about where we live. We live on Earth, Gaia, Mother. She's sick and tired of this crap. She's like, hi, forget me. And masculine energy here on earth is the sky, the sun, right? And she's the earth. We need the sun to grow food in the earth. We need weather. We need all of that to grow. Right now, what it feels like on earth is a desert, too much sun, right? So,
Hmm.
so it's like we all want more grounding. We all want more produce. We want food. We want
Yeah.
water. And water is a feminine energy, right? So I know this is like a long-winded thing, answer, but that's what's really going on right now. So
Mhm.
internally, how that relates to people is even men and women right now. And it's so wild. All this beautiful feminine energy in the sense of emotions is coming up. They are coming up to be dealt with. They are coming up to be understood. They are coming up to be accepted. How many times have you pushed your own emotions down? Or
So
been
many
told to
times.
push it, yeah, and been told to push your emotions down. No more. You can't do that because it's not a balanced energy. It's we're too much the masculine way. We need
Hmm.
to embody the feminine energy.
Yeah, one way that I think about it too, the masculine energy, I feel like if you think of like your typical CEO guy, Fran, please correct me if I'm wrong in this analogy, but you see that like very dominant CEO energy as it is today, all those CEOs running those businesses, and feminine energy is more flowy. It's more creative. It has, I guess, more flexibility with different ideas and stuff like that. So that's how I kind of think about the difference between those two things. But Fran, I would love your opinion on that. And really, if you could kind of break down what that actually means, because I feel like there is kind of a misconception about feminine energy and masculine energy, because I feel like sometimes feminine energy is just submissive or passive, which I don't think is correct. So can you speak one, I guess, to the difference between masculine and feminine energy a little bit more, and also to the true power of feminine energy and how that's beginning to be expressed in today's world?
So feminine energy is all about nurturing, intuition, receptivity, like giving of life, right? Look at the woman really does birth the child, but we need the man to give us his sperm because it activates the life. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Okay. But it goes a little deeper. Like, so how I can explain it. So feminine energy is beautiful, it's flowy, but how does she get there? That's what people miss. People don't understand how she got to be flowy and can walk through fire, can literally walk through any situation unscathed, right? Here's
Hmm.
why. She has to go through the chaos. Chaos is feminine energy, masculine is order. So here's a woman or here's a feminine energy. It's so wild. This is why it's so many things are going on right now, right? So in the world, we are being asked to deal with our emotions more, to understand them, accept them, right?
Hmm.
But a lot of people keep pushing them down because that's what they were taught. That's not what you do when it comes to feminine energy. Feminine energy is feeling them. Think about the ocean. Think about how the moon, feminine energy, activates the ocean. That's what happens when you go around a true feminine person is she activates you or they activate you to start to work with your emotions. So think of like the ocean, think of the waves. How does a surfer become so one with the waves and can ride the waves? They got out there, they worked in the chaos, they worked in the waves, they got pummeled, but they still got out there. That's how they master the waves. That's what feminine energy is about. It's about mastering your emotions to the sense of you understand them and you accept them. And you just now okay, I'm walking into a situation that's going to piss me off. I know I'm going to get angry, or I'm walking into a situation that I might get my heart broken, but you know what? I got me. I know how to handle my emotions. That's what feminine energy is about. That's when you see a flowy feminine energy. She can handle anything. Masculine energy is all about order. It's taking that chaos and grounding it and really bringing it like, here's the feminine energy, really creative. And here's all these ideas, gives them to the masculine energy and says, pick one and go with it.
Oh, interesting.
Does that make sense?
It does. I really like how you described that. I never thought about it in that way before.
Right. So you need both energies to really feel balanced. And again, I know people are non-binary. This has no disrespect to them. We honor them. This is a safe space. This is just another way of thinking about it
Hmm.
and understanding it.
Yeah.
So that's what like when I know when women come up to me and was like, I just want to be feminine and flowy. I'm like, but are you ready to take a deep dive into you then, into your ocean, into your waves?
Hmm.
That's when people get scared.
Hmm. Can you talk a
Scary.
little bit too about like that dark feminine energy that people talk about? So I feel like that's kind of where that assertive, uh, like fire in her eyes energy kind of comes out. And I think that's also necessary in order to have that soft, feminine, flowy version. So can you talk about that a little bit too?
So feminine energy is dark, period. That's feminine energy is the dark, masculine energy is the light. Okay. So she knows her boundaries. She knows, don't mess with me. I'm not the one. I know who I am. I know I can handle my emotions, but I know they're in my toolbox. If I need them, I'll unleash them. So if you keep trying me, you're going to get them. Emotions are tools. Think about it. You're sad, you're going to cry. You're
Hmm.
cleansing yourself, you know? You're angry, you're going to these are all about protectors. Emotions are just protectors. The feminine energy has those in her tool belt. She knows how to use them. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
So the dark feminine, it's just that's feminine. It's just always associate dark with feminine and don't and really kind of break up with the idea of dark is evil. It's not.
Yeah.
That's just a misconception. Educate yourselves. Like that's what I had to do working with energies. Dark is not evil. It's just an energy about because women have to go in there. Think about when you go into your emotions. You have no light,
Hmm.
blue, but you're using your intuition to understand. You're using your feelings to understand them. When I have anxiety, because it's the first thing that rings in my body, I don't feel safe, right? So anxiety rings the bell. You're not safe. Why? Why am I not safe? Why doesn't this person that I'm interacting make me feel safe?
Hmm.
It is that's the whole key to self-awareness. And that starts in the feminine energy.
2 points on that that I want to add too. So, speaking about how dark is not evil, I think that is such a good point to make because speaking about my personal journey, I always thought anger was like a very unsafe emotion for me to feel. So, I would try to run away from it as much as I could. But then I realized that anger is actually one super healthy for you to feel. And also, as you said, it's one of your protectors. And as I've been able to honor my anger a lot more, then I have been able to step into myself and to step into my boundaries and protect my boundaries a lot more. So if you're struggling with something like that, just work in little ways towards honoring that emotion and letting yourself feel that emotion.
Just feel it. You don't and feeling it is just understanding it.
Hmm.
Everybody talks about healing as fixing. We're not fixing, we're just understanding who we are and we're accepting. Like I'm an angry person at times because I need that energy to protect me. Two things humans need, safety and belonging. Everything comes down to safety and belonging. In any case with any person, it's do I feel safe and do I feel like I belong?
Right.
Or do they make me feel like I don't? So this is why feminine energy is so important and it's always overlooked because we've been told not to do that. What's the first thing that gets cut in schools?
Art programs,
Art
art,
and
music, stuff like that.
see? First thing to get cut is always feminine energy things
Hmm.
because they don't want us to embody our feminine energy because they know how powerful it is once we balance our feminine and our masculine energies. We're powerhouses.
Hmm.
Look at the people who like basically are successful. And I don't
Hmm.
mean just money, like are happy. Like I read a lot of uh Wall Street guys
Hmm.
and they do one thing that makes them so successful, like beyond, like they're retiring at 30 years old.
What is it?
They use their intuition.
Ah.
They feel it, they do it, and that's it. Now, success is also about like the most successful people in the world do another thing. They make a decision right then and there. There's no thinking about it. They just know because they're tapped into the energy. They're tapped into their feminine, they're tapped into their masculine. So they talk, it takes nanoseconds. Boom, they talk, boom, this is what we're doing. So, and I know people are like, oh, that's impulsive. No, that literally, that's what has made them successful. They've listened to their intuition and they just went with what they felt and they took action on it. Do you see how that balances out?
Hmm.
They feel it, they take action.
Yeah.
Feeling it is the feminine, action is the masculine. And boom, they don't overthink, they just do. Once you're in the overthinking energy, you lost it.
Yep.
Not aligned with the energy, you might as well just stop right there, not make a decision, and pull back.
It's so interesting that you bring it up because I've been seeing a lot about following your intuition and things like that lately. Like on TikTok, I feel like there was this trend about like women who were like, listen to the no that you hear, listen to your gut. And it's so true. You don't need an explanation for why. If a situation seems innocent, but there is something in your body telling you don't do it, then listen to your intuition and you don't have to question it. You don't ever have to find out why because there's other factors around that you consciously might not be picking up on, but that your body and that your subconscious is picking up on. So following your intuition is so key. And I'm so glad that you brought that up.
Because I live in New York City. I will not take the subway that much. It is very random. Like once in a while, I'll take the subway if traffic's, I'll drive or I'll take an Uber. And I know that sounds like to the people who are like, oh, you're ruining the environment. It's about my safety and security. I don't feel safe because of the energies. It's not people, it's the energies in the subway. I won't get into it, but I just know energetic, like that's my anxiety ringing, like it's not safe for you to be down there. And anxiety is our primal, is a primal emotion. It is the first, your alarm, it is telling you, this person, this situation, this, wherever you, this job is not safe anymore. It is not in your soul's purpose. That's another thing that happens. Your soul is literally trying to get you to your purpose. And I told you it happens between 35 and 42. You will be pushed into your soul purpose at those, that is the biggest breakthrough, spiritual awakening we ever go through. It is the most chaotic time. And that's why people literally they call it the midlife crisis because that's what it feels like. But really, what it's about is about going towards your soul purpose. It's really beautiful time.
Yeah, and I feel like it can feel really chaotic because lots of times our sole purpose is way different than what we've been doing up to that point. Because up to that point, maybe we've been just doing what we should be doing or what we were told to do or what was going to make us money or whatever the reason was. And lots of times our sole purpose is different than what that actually is.
Everything you just said was based out of ego and fear. Now we need our ego. Our ego is good. Our ego is there to protect us. Okay. But what you just said is ego and fear. Who's telling you what to do? Why are they telling you what to do? This is not their life. I don't care if it's your parent. I don't care if it's your spouse. Who gives a shit? Excuse my language. Sorry.
It's okay. I think I said it anyways earlier, so.
About you. It's about you and what you're here to do. So this is why most people are this is the time that most people break up is 35 to 42.
Interesting.
Yep. Or they break up with their job, they leave their job, like literally, or they like all of a sudden pack their shit and go to like Italy and live. Like they're done. Like they're following their soul's purpose. And it's something that you're not aware of in the beginning. And then all of a sudden you're aware of it and you're like, holy cow, this is oh wow, this is amazing. And you don't know why you listened to it, but you did.
Hmm.
And that was your intuition. That was your soul.
So cool.
Mhm.
So
Sorry.
no, I think it was such a great tangent. Coming back a little bit to the energetics and the shift from masculine to feminine energy just in the world as a whole, what are some of the biggest signs of the shift that people might be feeling on a day-to-day basis?
So what I'm seeing, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So like many clients are breaking down because their old ways of surviving, like we just talked about, their old ways of doing things because their mom and dad told them to, or this is what they think they need to do because of society. Like no, they're no longer working. And literally people are breaking down saying, I need help. I don't know what to do from here on out. It's kind of scary, but beautiful. And this is all like root chakra, feminine energies, root chakra, instability. Like, and this is like, I see a lot of root chakra blockages, throat chakra, because they can't speak their truth. Um, like sacral energy, stepping into that beautiful energy of passion and fire and just really going after it. It's like all of this is trying to awaken you to who you truly are. And your fears, which you mentioned earlier, keep you back.
Hmm.
And so that's what I'm seeing a lot with people right now is that there's a breakdown in them to have a breakthrough, but they're so focused on the breakdown and what's not working and focusing on the negative. Again, duality, polarity. You have to look at what's not working, but you have to look at what could work.
Right.
And that's where the magic happens. You see, people are being called to feel deeper, to understand themselves deeper. a lot of people only understand themselves on surface level. They don't really know who they are. And it's wild when they come to me and I'm like, oh, this is what's happened. This is what's going on. And they're like, and a lot of people will say this famous phrase to me, that doesn't resonate. That's not the way I feel. Well, no shit, because you don't know how you feel because you never freaking felt yourself in your whole entire life. Sorry. Like something in me that is like, I'm like, of course you don't feel because, or you don't feel that way because you've never felt it. You never explored it. You never went deep enough with yourself.
Hmm.
And here we go. You ready for the ride? You got to
Yeah.
sit with it. You got to look at it. You got to like be the observer. I know the book, The Untethered Soul, he talks about the seat of consciousness. That's the observer. That's becoming self-aware, is watching all these emotions play out in you and understanding them. So you can understand yourself and why you do what you do. Why do I get angry? Why do I get sad? Why am I afraid to be in a relationship? Or why am I a serial dater where I always need to be in a relationship? Do you see? These
Hmm.
all come down to safety, belonging.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that you brought that up, but also the Untethered Soul, you're not the first person that mentioned that book to me, and I have not read it myself, but I feel like this is a sign that I need to read it because I've heard about it more than once in the last couple of weeks, so I'm gonna get it off of Amazon. And thinking about the coming home to yourself piece, I feel like for me, and this might be a little bit, tell me if I'm like kind of off kilter here, but for me, over the last couple months, I've just noticed these like little hits where I'm like, oh, I think this is actually my favorite thing. So earlier this week, I was like, actually, I think my favorite fruit is like watermelon. And like that sounds so simple, but like it's been different. And the same thing happened with like my favorite color. I've always said that like my favorite color is blue or pink, but recently I realized I was like, no, actually I think like my favorite color is burnt orange. And that's like an actual like it feels like a truth in my body, which is, and to everybody listening that might sound little, but for you, maybe just really explore those things about yourself because that's an easy entryway into those bigger emotions too. Because even those surface level things that we think about, like favorite fruit, favorite color, favorite music, favorite band, like if you're not even tuned into that, like how are you going to be tuned into the deeper stuff?
And it's so crazy how you say this because everything is perspective. And maybe like you didn't like watermelon before, but now you do because you're expanding, you're learning, you're opening up your palette, you're opening up. And this goes for everything in life. Perspective is everything. And how you change your perspective is by going deeper within yourself and understanding yourself. Because if you don't explore these parts of you and you stay stuck, like I only like orange, like this is sparkling water with orange. Like I only like orange, that's it. And you never tried raspberry lime. How are you going to know?
Right.
This is why being open-minded and so your perspective can become wider and deeper. And like even what's going on politically right now, right? Like instead of just saying I'm picking a side and that's where I'm staying, why not look at it broader?
Hmm.
Understand, and this is why I love like humans and like psychology and sociology. I just love it because I love how to see how humans work and why they work and what blocks and why they're doing it gets really weird in here. I'm like I see things that other people cannot, so I get really into it. But just becoming more open-minded. That's and people are like, oh, I'm open-minded. No, you're not. If you were open-minded, you would be willing to look at the other side of your political situation.
Right.
Like I talk about this a lot. Like again, this is
Mhm.
just an example. Abortion. Why can't you see that people do want abortion or are for abortion or not? Why can't you sit in the middle and just see it and see both
Mhm.
sides? That's
That's
the same thing with your emotions. That's the same thing with spirituality. It's the same thing with any spirituality's gotten weird lately. Like
yeah.
is acting weird about it. Like this is the only way. Why? Why is your way the only way? I just know what works for me, and that's what I'm going to teach. And I'm going to keep broadening my perspective and my education on it. I'm not going to
Mhm.
say this way is the only way. That's weird.
That is weird, especially when it comes to something like spirituality. Like the whole point of spirituality, I think, is to have this acceptance of everybody as they are and have this acceptance of like unity, but also difference. So it's like, why are you trying to just force somebody into a box? That's not what spirituality is about.
Right. And so when women talk about, I see these feminine embodiment coaches, and I love them. They have a place in spirituality, but you cannot sit there and like and say this is the only way. It's like, well, why don't you teach that women are supposed to be flowy and all of this stuff, but you don't teach them why. You don't teach them how. Trust me, I've taken a few of them. I'm like, oh, let me just see, like, because I want to explore my own feminine energy.
Right.
But the only way I could explore my own feminine energy was through working with my emotions and having someone help me facilitate like that, like going for me to go inward, basically hold my hand and do it.
Speaking about feminine energy, with everything that's going on in the world right now and this shift, would you describe it as a return to feminine energy, or do you think it's something that's bigger than that?
Hmm. Feels like it's both.
Okay.
Okay. We're remembering something ancient because remember, before men, there was only women. Look up the Eve gene. That's all I'm going to say. Okay.
Okay.
Women ruled the world because there was no men really. I know. Look it up.
I
Okay.
know I'm gonna look it up. I wrote it down so I can look it up
Yeah.
later.
Um, we're remembering something ancient. Like high priestesses ran the world, like ran people went to high priestess and she was a woman,
Hmm.
right? Um, but think of like birthing, like think of in a way we've never embodied before without shame. Like we got all this stuff happening right now. Okay. We're remembering we were here as creation. Feminine energy was here as creation. I mean, if God was anything, it was a woman.
Honestly, like for real though.
Like, come on, like creation, feminine energy, creation. Like I don't. But anyway, um, so this is like we're reclaiming our divine feminine without needing to dim our light anymore. This is like an awakening of sort. This is like we're going back to ancient times, but we're reawakening it at the same time. It's like she's been sleeping. Like
Hmm.
I don't know how else to explain it. And feminine and I realized that when I embody my feminine energy and I'm in my feminine flow, people don't like it. They hate it.
Why do you think that is?
Feminine energy is chaos. So when I walk into a room, people look at me because and people get like I don't want to say jealous, but they get this energy of, well, who the hell does she think she is? Because I'm triggering them. When you're just energy just triggers them when you step into your power, you step into your feminine and masculine energies. But feminine energy, for some reason, really annoys people and triggers people. It's kind of fun. I know we're going off on another tangent.
No, please do. I love the
And
tangent.
it's really watch when you truly step and meaning you know who the fuck you are, you're self-aware, you know how your energy shows up. Watch how people act around you. Watch how you act around people who embody the same thing or embody it a little deeper than you do. How do you feel?
Hmm.
This is about self-awareness is everybody says it. I'm self-aware. If you have to say it, then you're not it. Self-awareness is all about seeing how you interact in that energy, how the energy interacts with you and how you're feeling. Remember, a lot of people don't go below their neck. They're always in their head.
Hmm.
So when I get people who don't feel, they're like, I can't feel, I'm numb. No shit, because you haven't really explored your emotions and you suppress them. But I'm telling you, next time you walk into a room, watch how people make you feel. It is wild what you'll learn about yourself.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's one thing I've noticed about feminine energy that people don't like it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a really good point because something, and Fran and I were kind of talking about this beforehand too, but I feel like people feel this energetic shift that's happening. And I feel like there's men out there, not all men, but there are some men out there who are reacting with anger, with resentment, and even violence as they're feeling this energy feminine rise. I mean, we've all seen it. So, one, I guess, do you think that it's just the feminine energy itself that is causing these men to act with that anger and with that violence? Or, and what do you think is actually really being threatened? Like, why are they reacting in that way? Is it because their power is being threatened? Is it their identity? Is it something deeper than that?
Well, it's really their identity.
Okay.
Like masculinity has been tied to dominance and suppression for so long that they feel lost without that framework. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The feminine isn't attacking them. She's showing them where they've, abandoned themselves. That's all feminine energy is. Like you're abandoning yourself. Hi, come back home, come back inward.
Hmm.
Stop, stop trying to control, stop trying to dominate. Like stop going outside of you. You need to come inward. You need to come home. And I listen, I've got my fair share of like women, like literally it baffles me when men say women should be wiped off the face of the earth.
That's
Okay, so
crazy.
you like the company of men. We get it. This is a safe space for you. Like, and men get so mad at me.
But also, like, how are there going to be babies if there's no women?
Well, then they go into women should be in the home. Women shouldn't work. The stuff I've been hearing, even in my post, what men comment is the most vile and disgusting things I've ever read. And this is because men are triggered by women. I told you, men are triggered by women because when you start to embody your feminine energy, it triggers them to get into theirs. As within, so without. If I'm embodying my feminine energy and now I'm interacting with you, that's what you're going to feel. That you have to embody your feminine energy to match my energy, or else we can't be around each other.
Hmm.
Just the way it goes. So it's funny about men. Men are literally losing their shit right now. And again, we're just speaking specifically about men because they're being asked to do something they don't want to do or they've been taught not to do. It's really killing them because
Yeah.
they don't want to work with their emotions.
Hmm.
Very, and the men who do get it and own it and do it and move on.
Hmm. Yeah.
Literally become this being that you're like, I love to see a man in their masculine and feminine energies balanced. Now, listen, we all get a little toxic because we're human, but when they're secure in who they are and take action in that, nothing sexier.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like men who are balanced in those energies, you can feel it because men that have both energies, like you're saying, I feel like they just freaking love women. And that has nothing to do with sexual orientation, but they honor women, they love
Yep.
women. And the men who are not balanced in it, they're the ones that resent women. And this is going to sound really crude when I say this, but the men that are unbalanced that just want to force women to stay at home, which
Yeah.
like I love like being at home. I love all of that stuff, but that's my personal preference, right? I would not be forced into that. If
Mm-hmm.
you're a man that wants to force somebody into that, then you're really just looking for, in my opinion, like a servant that you can fuck, which like that sounds really crude, but that's like how I look at it, you know, like you either like honor women and you honor their individuality and their choices or you don't. Hi, Love Bug. I've got a juicy little gift for you. And if you've been feeling off, stuck in your head, or like your vibe just is not vibing lately, then this is for you. I created a free guide called The Three Secrets to Creating a Magnetic Energy Shift right now. And it's exactly what you need to start shifting your energy instantly. These are the exact tools I use with my private coaching clients when they're ready to stop chasing and start attracting. We're talking powerful, we're talking practical, and yes, of course, we are talking a little bit woo, but in the best possible way. In the guide, you will learn how to clear energetic blocks, activate your most irresistible frequency, shift into receiving mode, and there's even a bonus secret on how to use your body language to instantly boost your confidence and presence. So, if you're ready to feel like the version of you who turns heads, magnetizes opportunities, and walks through the world like the main character, then this is your sign. Head to the show notes and click the link to download your free copy. It is quick, it is powerful, and it is going to leave you feeling like, damn, I really am that girl. All right, let's get back into the episode. So, for the men that do want to grow with this shift, but are kind of struggling to grow with this shift, what are ways that we can help them and help support them? And I guess a step further too, what does that healing actually look like for that man who does want to go through that growth?
We talked about this earlier. Um, Hold space for them. Don't mother them. Don't don't do everything for them. If let them let in, they'll get it in their like dating. Let a man figure it out. You don't have to call them. You don't have to push your energy on them. They will figure it out when they're ready, right? Like that's some we can talk about that in a second. But healing looks like accountability without shame, like talking to them but not shaming them about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like these, like you hurt my feelings. My feelings are my responsibility, but I want to discuss them with you. And I may have to put up a boundary, not for you, but for me to keep me safe, right? Um, Let them figure out their own emotions right now. They may
Mm-hmm.
not do it as quickly as you, or they may not get it as quickly as you, but it doesn't mean they won't. I hear this a lot with clients. Oh, he'll never figure it out. Okay, well then cause the law of cause and effect. If you believe it that they're not going to get it, they're not going to figure it out, they're not. So you just, I don't have to be a psychic to tell you that what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
Coming. Well, what do you mean? Well, you just said it. That's what you believe. That's what's going to happen, right? I
Right.
know, I'm getting off a little of a tangent here. Um, like let them figure it out at their own pace and hold space for them. Like literally, this is what divine balance looks like, is holding space for somebody to get to figure it out. Like you figured it out already. How would you like somebody rushing you if you couldn't figure it out, or being like, you can't get it yet, what's wrong with you?
Right.
You'd be so frustrated and like probably either run away or break down. Give them a safe, powerful, open-hearted space to do this.
Yeah.
What women are for. We hold space too. We energetically, emotionally hold space for people. We should do that for men who want that. Be patient with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild right now what's going on because I see it. And right now with this Scorpio full moon, and now we even have Mercury in Taurus squaring, really throwing a lot of energy at Mars in Leo, and people are losing their shit right now. Like people are being so aggressive and even violent with their mouths. And then we have a powerful conjunction on actually tomorrow, my birthday. Um, it's Uranus is literally conjunct the sun. Like they're best friends right now. And actually Uranus has been on my son for almost a year now.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I get it. But this is a powerful change about freedom. This is about setting us free right now. So this is all on brand for what's going on with the masculine, feminine energies too.
Mm-hmm.
It's about freedom, and we don't know what that's going to look like. And it's about going with the flow. So working in your emotions right now and learn how to work with your emotions so you know how to work with them out in the world so they don't overtake you. You go, no, 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 anger. We don't need to pop off yet. Relax. I'll tell you when I need you.
Mm-hmm.
Take a time out. Just sit here next to me. This is how I talk to my energies. We don't need to get mad at this beautiful person right now. They're trying their best. I do this a lot. I get so frustrated with things. But yeah, and this is how you can hold space for people, not just men,
Mm-hmm.
even children. I know I grew up with a mom who was so overwhelmed with life and she just couldn't hold space for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy and chaotic.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of that too, what you're talking about comes back to trust also, like
Mhm.
giving, like trusting that somebody is going to be okay, like trusting that somebody is going to be able to step up, trusting that they're going to be able to handle it themselves. Whether, I mean, to your point with men, like giving them the space to step up instead of just completely handling it yourself because you don't trust them to do it in the way that you would do it and to finish it. One, allowing the space to trust that. And then your example with like kids, you have to like give kids the space to mess up and trust that they're going to learn from it and trust that they're going to be able to eventually like handle themselves, because if you're like a helicopter parent that's doing everything for your kids, not letting them mess up, not letting them make mistakes, not letting them learn from that and grow, then they're going to be those people when they're out on their own that don't know how to wash a dish or like don't know how to load the dishwasher. So it's just allowing that trust to grow, I feel like too.
100%, because my mom was a helicopter mom. And I was, even as a little girl, I wish my mom was alive so she could tell you guys this. But like, even as a little girl, I was like, leave me alone. I need to learn on my own.
Hmm.
I was very independent. And it was just like that. I was listening to my soul because I needed to learn. Kids need to learn on their own. They have their own journey and their own karma to deal with. So as a parent, if you're always getting involved in their karma, you're taking on their karma now. And it's always going to look like a chaotic mess because you're taking on something you have no business taking on. I know that's your kid. I know, I get it, but they have to learn.
Hmm. And even though it's your kid, like it's still an individual soul, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Like I've talked about this before, but like I believe in soul contracts and like a soul contract, in order for a baby to be born, there's agreement between the mom, the dad, and the baby. So there's three parties that have to agree to that birth in order for it to happen, in my opinion. So, I mean, to your point, Fran, like you gotta let your kids do what they came here to do.
Right. And it's wild when I see parents like helicopter their kid. Like if your kid is being bullied or beat up or abused in any way, like sure, do you feel you should step in 1,000%? But see if your kid can handle it. They'll surprise you.
Hmm.
Children are freaking resilient. I mean, think about my own childhood and how much I was not only the protector for myself, but for my little sister. And it's wild to me and going back in my childhood and doing all this healing and going back and seeing how I was like, wow, I was smart. Was resilient. I figured it out. I thank those parts who are in me to be like, and I thank them and I'm like, wow, thank you. Thank you so much because you did your job. And I'm going to relieve you of your job a little bit. You're still going to have this job, but you're going to stand next to me. We're going to do this together. That's what it's about.
So going back to what we were talking about with the masculine energy, how some people are kind of resisting it, some people are leaning into it. Do you think that the masculine is kind of secretly craving this rise of feminine energy, even if they're not consciously aware of it yet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're fighting it, it means like it's trying to tell you something. Think about like
Hmm.
your tuition or your anxiety. It's trying to tell you something.
Hmm.
It's triggering, it's a message.
Hmm.
And it's like trying to tell them, like, hey, look, you can't just stay in this, I'm gonna call it toxic masculinity. You
Hmm.
can't stay there. Masculinity is about being stable and safe and what's the other words I'm looking for? God, action oriented, like very much makes decisions, right?
Hmm.
It's activates. It's I love masculine energy, but and it's protective and it illuminates things. That's the other thing that people don't understand about masculine energy. It's illuminating. It opens you up to the possibilities. Man, I just love this conversation. Something I've been really wanting to talk about, but it's
Well,
yeah.
Well, I think it's like so important to talk about because one, I feel like a lot of people like demonize masculine energy, which one is also not the way forward. You can't demonize like a certain like population or a certain part of yourself even because as you mentioned earlier, we all have masculine and feminine energy within us, but it also is about that balancing act. And I think it's so important for us to talk about it just because I mean things are pretty chaotic right now because there's that switch happening. So I think it's nice to put words to what people are feeling when they don't know how to put words to it.
Right. I mean, literally, that's what everybody's going through is to step more into their embodying their feelings, working with their feelings. That's why the energy, especially around these moons. I mean, Scorpio, it's its detriment. It doesn't Scorpio does or the moon doesn't like to be in Scorpio, but it brings us to the depths of us.
Mm-hmm.
Like this moon really brought out a lot of energy. And then the other transits that are going on, wild. It is like excuse me, if you don't like if you're not feeling the shift in you
Mm-hmm.
and shifts look like triggers, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not paying attention to those, what are you doing? You can't just demonize and or say something's a negative and not it's wild to me. The stuff I've heard, the stuff I've dealt with, the stuff I've seen, just
Mm-hmm.
wild. But this is a time to really embody your emotions and work with both energies. You can't just work in the masculine anymore, the critical thinking, you know what I mean? You can't
Right.
do that.
Right? The hustle culture, the work until you're burnt out culture. I feel like that has been on like the decline for a while now, but I feel like it's hitting even faster at this point because we were never built to do that. We weren't built to like just hustle all the time and just like work ourselves into the ground. That's not what it was meant to be about.
when people, I work maybe 2 to 4 hours a day, the most.
Hmm.
I don't see that many clients. And if I do, it's because I work at a witch shop called Witch Please in Beacon, New York.
Hmm.
And I'll do like maybe 8 readings in that day, but it's because I want to help people and I lower
Hmm.
my rate there and everything.
Hmm.
Like I'm 175 for 30 minutes. There I'm $99.
Yeah.
And you get to see me in person.
Yeah.
So I mean that hustle culture, I don't fucking do that. I don't got time for that. I want to enjoy my life. I'm a Taurus. I like things nice and slow.
And
Okay.
luxurious.
Luxurious. Exactly. Like, oh my, like, please, if you, Matt talks about, my partner always talks about, oh, let's go to this hole in the wall. Might have the best food ever, but I'm like, girl, no. It, but anyway, but hustle, like, you couldn't ask me to hustle. Like, even when I was young, no, there's no hustle here.
Yeah.
You, and if you want to make more money, bring in more income. And I know people are like, but then you have to work. Yes, but there's working smarter, not harder.
Right.
So that part.
Yeah, precisely. So I do have a couple more questions for you. What guidance do you have for women who are awakening to their intuition and divine feminine gifts right now, but maybe they're feeling a little overwhelmed or unsupported in that process as they're awakening to these different parts of themselves?
Of course, start small. Be real with yourself. What can you take on and what can't you? Because I
Mhm.
know a lot of women have families or how, you know what I mean? Like start small. Don't don't try to, and this is not a rushing thing, right?
Mhm.
This is we don't rush. Like, and also protect your energy.
Mhm.
Protect your if you like you said, no is a complete sentence. No is a complete, you don't have to explain. Don't over explain because that's a trauma response.
Mhm.
I'm like, no, no, thank you. I don't feel like it. Even I don't feel like it is a
It's a
over,
valid reason.
but it's all also I'm explaining myself. I just
Right.
know. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
Then you see?
Yeah.
See, I'm even working on that myself.
Yeah.
Is to say, no, no, thank you. I
Yeah.
can't.
And surrounding yourself with people who like will accept your no. Like if you're surrounded by people who won't take no as an answer, then maybe
Yeah.
that's a clue that you should start surrounding yourself with other people that are more aligned to you.
I want you guys to do something. If you have plan, this is how you know if somebody is emotionally mature, it can handle things, right? Make plans with somebody and then cancel them. Watch what they do. If they can't literally be like, okay, no worries, let's reschedule, and they throw a fit and say, you wasted my time, that ain't the person for you.
Hmm.
Or you're just not aligned, or you're seeing their emotional immaturity. Because
Hmm.
you canceled, even if it's at the last minute, I'm like,
Hmm.
you know what? Wasn't meant to be. I've
Yeah.
had clients forget about their sessions and I'll just message them. I don't get mad anymore. I
Hmm.
message and say, hey, I just want to let you know, like, I was here. No worries. We'll reschedule.
Hmm.
That means it wasn't aligned. But I'm telling you, I mean, that's a little manipulation tactic. Not gonna lie, but cancel and see what happens. See, because at times you got to see who you're working with here too.
Well, even if it just happens naturally, if you cancel plans and someone just goes off the rails at you, like red flag, you know?
Huge. That's a stop sign. The red flags to me are stop signs or stop lights. We
Yes.
need to address this.
Yes.
And and again, I say this constantly. My feelings, my responsibility. Even if
Hmm.
you triggered my feelings, they're still my responsibility. Because the point of us is that we should be able to let people be and act out and be who they want, and we stay neutral or as much as we can. Because again, when we get together with people, it's never neutral, but stay to the point where you can understand your emotions enough not to react and you can respond.
Hmm.
So there's power in that. I've noticed that with my friends that piss me off, and I'm like, this pisses me off, right? And I'm internally having a dialogue. This pisses me off. Anger wants to come up or sadness or whatever. Nope. Just hang on, hang tight,
Hmm.
excuse myself, work with my emotions. And then if I feel safe enough to speak to that person, because I know where they are emotionally, I can
Hmm.
have a conversation, be like, you hurt my, no, I don't ever say you hurt. Let me see, I'm working on this. this hurt my feelings and I would like
Mhm.
to discuss it with you, but I'm not putting my feelings as your responsibility. It is mine.
Mhm.
That is so powerful when, like, think about it. If I come up to you and say, "Hey, Carly, you hurt my feelings because you said this about whatever,"
Mhm.
you automatically get defensive. That's
Right.
your part coming in to protect you.
Mhm.
Now it's more like we have to have that communication, that dialogue after we understand our feelings with other people.
I think that's a really good point that when you're able to take accountability for your own feelings and you're able to vocalize them in a way that allows the other person to also understand them, then that's a really healthy place for you to be. So, thinking about this shift in energy from masculine to feminine, do you think that this is kind of like a karmic reckoning? That sounds very ominous, but do you think it's kind of like a karmic reckoning happening with the misuse of masculine power over however many years that masculine power has been kind of like the dominant force?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're seeing it collapse. Like, we're seeing the collapsing of institutions, breakups, like power shifts, power struggles. What's not built in truth is coming down. We're in a big tower moment right now. That's literally what we're in.
Hmm.
Like but this reckoning is karmic. It's like it's almost asking the masculine to stop dominating and start listening. So we want a seat at the table. Just because we want a seat at the table doesn't mean we want to take from you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, same thing with people of like black, brown people and all that, women. It's like we don't want to take like these white men in power. And I know I'm getting a little off topic here, but we don't want to take from you. We just want a seat at the table.
Yeah.
We want to be heard. We want to be seen.
Right.
That's what's happening right now.
Right. We want a seat at the table. We don't want your seat.
No, we don't want your seat. And the same thing with the concept of money. People are like, oh, there's not enough. There's 2 point something trillion dollars in circulation in the United States alone. If you don't think
Hmm.
there's money out there to be made, girl, I can't help you. Like, that's what it is. We are seeing a collapse. We're in the midst of a tower moment. And this tower moment may last a little, for some, a little long. But
Right.
for me, I'm like, bring it all down.
Yeah.
It ain't working. It is not working.
Well, I feel like we're all feeling the repercussions of that, right? Like we've all, I mean, it kind of goes back to that burnout conversation where it's like we are all tired. Like that is the first indicator that it is not working and that something needs to change. So I feel like this change is happening like right when it is supposed to be happening. So having like done some like spiritual and energetic work myself with you, Fran, like flowing with what is happening rather than trying to resist it is going to get you where you want to go so much faster than if you're just trying to like sit there and be like, no, I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen, putting a blindfold over your eyes because the tower is going to fall whether you want it to fall or not.
And right now, what we've been doing for the past decades is holding up a false reality. So if you look at the Tower card in tarot, it's based off Babylon, where they built the tower to God. And God is like, no, this is not how you get to me. No, coming down. It's a false reality.
Okay.
So that's what's happening right now. It's a false reality coming down. It's not built in the truth. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So anybody trying to hold up this false reality, I'm not going to say his name, but you know who I'm talking about, who runs the United States at this point. It's crumbling. You're seeing it, but this is actually what how I see it, right? That's chaotic energy. This That person is creating chaotic energy so you can work with your emotions, so you can understand how powerful you really are.
Hmm.
So it's actually a good thing that's what's happening. Now, I'm not saying I'm for him or that person, but it's a good thing in the sense if you look at it from a higher perspective, it's helping you step into your power.
Hmm.
It's helping you all this fear and all these emotions coming up and triggering you. Good. This is the waves. Learn to ride them. That's what's happening right now.
With that said, what is your vision for the future of divine feminine energy and divine masculine energy? What does harmony truly look like when we get there as a society?
Co-leading. both energies co-leading. We work with the universe to get to manifest, right? We speak the language of feelings. That's how the universe understands. This is why when people talk about like, oh, they're not in their feelings or they don't understand their feelings, I'm like, then how are you even consciously talking to the universe? You're not. You're subconsciously. But like literally co-creating. And it's in co-leading. It's not make matriarchy over patriarchy. It's balance. It's understanding that the men is about that man, excuse me, masculine is about safety and security and protectiveness and authority, is making decisions, and feminine energy is about creativity and intuitive and flow, but and emotional. Understanding that both energies have to coexist, have to work with each other. I've seen so many people pushing down their emotions and they're miserable.
Mm-hmm.
They don't go very far. And again, it's like a collaboration. It's almost like emotional fluency, emotional intelligence. And that's how you embody this power to move forward. Because a wheelbarrow, if you don't have a balance, if you don't have balance, you can't move forward. Same thing on a bicycle.
Right.
Same thing's going on right now, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's such a good analogy too. I mean, I didn't think about it that way either, but with a bicycle, like you're gonna tilt to either side and you're gonna have to regain your momentum if you're not going fast enough and if you don't have that balance to begin with.
Yeah. It's to me, it's like it's so simple, but I get it. I get why it's not simple to people because if you don't understand what feminine energy is and masculine energy is, then yeah, you're not going to understand what you need to work on.
Right. So, Fran, you have a retreat coming up at the end of the
You.
year. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the retreat that you have coming up?
So I'm co-hosting with one of them. Actually, she was a client, and I just saw something in her. Her name's Marie.
Hmm.
She's intuitive. I forget her name on Instagram, but I'll look it up as I'm talking. So we're doing Costa Rica November 5th through the 10th, I believe.
Hmm.
And it's just going to be about Marie does art therapy, but she's really
Amazing.
spiritual. So I invited her to do a couple sessions at my Hamptons retreat back in September. And I was blown away by her. I was like, oh my God. Like when you're in the flow of it and you're teaching people art and you're teaching people how to embody feminine energy, creativity, I'm like, there's something about her. And then we'll be doing inner child work. We'll be doing so many excursions. We have so much planned, but there
Yeah.
will be downtime. Like we're gonna go to the hot springs and have dinner. There's a cacao ceremony that we're gonna do. We're also gonna make chocolate and cacao, I
Oh,
guess.
cool.
I have to see what else we're doing. But yeah, it's just gonna be magical and beautiful. And and men and women are uh they both can come.
Right.
So I think there's a couple coming. I think they signed up, but we only have a few spots left. So if anybody, my hair just keeps doing weird things today. If anybody is interested, let me know. But yeah, we'll be doing inner child work and movement and like Marie has this idea of like she wants to lay a canvas down and everybody body paints and just roll in it and just see what your body does.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
Um,
so cool.
else, I mean, there's so much. We're gonna take an aerial walk above like in the trees and the bridges and go to a volcano, stuff like that.
That's so
Oh,
cool.
we're gonna do herbal medicine. I love herbal medicine.
Love it.
Got started.
I love your girl is a big holistic medicine type of girl. So herbal medicine is totally my jam.
Rosemary is one of my favorite herbs to work with.
Yeah. Oh, I love rosemary. I love the smell of rosemary.
When I see it, I run my hands through it and I just put it all over me. I'm like,
Yes. Yeah, my shampoo is rosemary shampoo. So
yeah,
yeah,
because rosemary helps your hair grow.
yeah.
So
And just speaking from experience, I went on a retreat with Fran a couple years ago. It was an amazing retreat, and they have only gotten better and better because um, she has just grown so much. Or I'm going to say something different right there. Hold on. That wasn't a very good sell. So, speaking from experience, I have been on one of Fran's retreats too a couple of years ago. It was amazing back then, and they have only gotten better and better. So, if y'all are interested in the retreat, this is definitely one to go to, especially being in Costa Rica. What a cool place for it to be in. So, Fran, if anybody has any questions about the retreat or any of your other services, where should they contact you at?
FrancescaDeCapita.com.
Great.
Yeah.
And then do you have an Instagram or anything like that that they can follow you at?
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Francesca DeCapita. At
Perfect.
Francesca DeCapita. Yeah. I kept it simple. I was
Yes.
like, it's gotta be, and nobody else has his name. So
Yes. Very unique name. I'll put all of the links to all of Fran's website, all of the places that you can contact her. Um, and if you guys have any questions, if you have any comments, feel free to reach out to myself or to Fran. And I think that is it. That's all I have today. But Fran, is there any last comments that you would like to say?
just work with your emotions. Triggers are messengers to go inward, and emotions are natural and they're normal to be. This is what makes us human as opposed to other beings in the universe, right?
Mhm.
Our emotions are they're literally your power. They have hold so much power for you.
Thank you so much for joining, Fran. This was an amazing conversation. And I will see you guys next week. Love you. Bye. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you liked what you heard, then go ahead and subscribe so you get updates with us every week. You can also follow us on Instagram at KRC Coaching. If you're interested in working one-on-one, then go ahead and visit our website, krccoaching.com, to book your first 30-minute session for free. All right, thanks so much, you guys. Love you. Bye.